Alright, now we've brought the IPTC keywords into the program along with the IPTC caption, and we are ready to keyword. Now notice when I imported the images, the program automatically filled in the first image with color image and horizontal if you have the width and height, and this color image is set up in the preferences for you. So we start with interior exterior. You see I get a drop down list. I type in an O for outdoors. I go to the daytime. I type in DAY. And you notice that we have an autofill capability here in the program, so I never have to type in the full word. Now you may ask yourself, how are these lists populated? And to show you that, we'll go to the vocabulary. Here's a little trick. If I have a word highlighted before I go to vocabulary, when I go there, it brings me that word. So we can see to people, we see the reason that it shows up in the numbers section is because I have it listed as the category number. To understand this, you know now that you can change any of the data that appears on the entry screen by giving it a new category, or by deleting that image and adding a new, that generator, and adding a new generator. So for illustration's sake, let's go and create a new generator. We'll call it 17 people. Get rid of the plural. We'll give it a number, category, come back to the program, type it in, and there it is. So as you can see, the program is designed to be very customizable, and you can modify everything. In the famous places, we don't have every single place in the world, but we have a lot. And again, the idea is if it's not there, you can add it. In the family things, we have all the different relationships, family relationships. You can add those in for family pictures. And in the people, you can add in the gender and age of the people that you're showing. And then you just tab through the boxes, add the information that you need to add. And the important thing here is that it is as easy or as difficult as you want to make it. In other words, you don't have to add anything. You can just add whatever you want to add, and the other fields you can leave blank. Now, the one thing you want to be aware here is that in we combine a lot of words into one word so that you don't have to enter things more than once. So when we put in portrait, looking and smiling, that means portrait looking at camera and smiling. So it has looking at camera, and it has the smiling words. And smiling words also have the conceptual terms of happiness with those words, so that saves time too. Now with this image, we might want to say romance, and to make sure that I have the perfect word to describe the image, I again can go to the vocabulary with romance highlighted. And here I get romance, but I also get all of its related generators. And these are generators that share the term romance in their associated keywords. And I can look through at all the different words. It's a great way to educate yourself on what the vocabulary contains. And I can see that bride and groom have the word romance and romantic and love in it. So in fact, I know that I do not need to add romance. It's already there under bride and groom. I go to the next thing is new words. If I want to add a new word that's not in the vocabulary, I can do it here. I could add the name of the people in the image. Or if I add a word that I'm going to use a lot, I can click on the Add to Vocab button to add it to the vocabulary permanently. Alright, so we now have keyworded one image, and we now is time to go to to keyword the next image, and we do that by choosing keyword next image, or the shortcut Command 6, and that takes us to the next unkeyworded image, which in this case is the second one, but it might be you might be out of sequence because you might have copied your keywords from one image to many other images and no longer be in sequence to keyword the next image. So by keywording the next image, you go to the first unkeyworded image, and therefore you keep the sequence and order, and you don't get lost in the program. So I recommend you do that. Plus, when you do keyword next image, you fill in the color automatically and the format if you've got the width and height. Alright, so we now know that this image is very similar to the previous one. So we can go here, copy from previous, and we copy the keywords from the previous image into this one. And we can just change the things we need to change. So it's no longer a portrait, but the guy is smiling, so I'm going to type in smiling. And I see that the program tells me that smiling belongs in the expressions activity box. Would you like to move it? So I can move it there, and now it goes into the right box. So theoretically, you can enter all the keywords you need from just one box, as long as you're a good speller and have a good idea of what's in the vocabulary. We change that to 3/4. We have front view, and then we have back view. Oops. And then we go through, and we might again want to add another concept. We'll say, again, helpful, and it's there. And I say, again, I can go check to in the vocabulary to see what other words have helpful. I could use assistance, but I see that helpful has all of these terms, these associated keywords, which will be attached to the image. So I know I'm pretty well covered with the term helpful. Again, we go to the next image. It's similar to the previous one. I do Control 4. It copies it. Again, I can change things and add and take out whatever I want. Now, if I go and do Control Copy from previous again, it gives me a message and says, you sure you want to do this? And that's in case I've made a mistake. So I say, no, I don't want to do that. Now we can look at some of the other image commands that we have up in the menu item. And one of them, for instance, I can clear all generators from this image. If I made a mistake in copying it from an image that I didn't mean to and I want to remove it, I just say remove all. Again, if I want to go here, for instance, let's say I add a word, let's say flower, right? And I want to add that word to the next image. I go Control 2, go to the next image, and then Control 3, and it types it, puts it right in there. So that's an easy way to move one keyword or one generator from one image to the next. Alright, so that's basically the idea of how to keyword. You put in the keywords. If they're similar to the previous one, you can copy from that one, or if it's similar to, you can also do copy from the next image if you want to do that. And you move through the images and put in all the generators that you need.